The garden has been half asleep, not fully in hibernation, but it's time for me to take care of those dahlias. Everything looks still half alive, and it brings me a lot of joy to see it all. Even if it looks sad, it gives me hope for spring to come really soon so that I can start playing again in the garden. Things are sprouting that are not supposed to, like my alliums. But I have to take care of those dahlias because they're not gonna wait for me any longer. So let's clean up a couple of things that I have to do and then go ahead and get all my dahlias out of the ground. This climbing hydrangea, look at the stems, how beautiful. They just get so pretty. I absolutely love them. They have like a red bark, but this is what I'm afraid. If you see, there's little buds in here. And I'm concerned because when it gets in the 20s, I hope it doesn't damage the hydrangea. Everything is so confused. But this looks so pretty, even if it's just branches. So sometimes I buy plants because I want to get a nice look in the winter. And that can be just branches. It doesn't have to stay evergreen. But yeah, it looks really pretty with like the main stem going through and these little ones. I love it. I was looking at my greenbacks and look, he has some time. I gotta harvest all this. I'm gonna harvest these too. And then I looked in here and I have some more chard, marjoram. So all right, let's start digging dahlias and then I'm gonna come back to harvest these things. Oh wait, I have to show you. Look at the green onions, how gigantic. That's another one. I have that one and this one. More veggies to harvest today. I have to get all of this done. I labeled the dahlias last year. So I have to just cut them down and dig them out, and then I'm gonna put them indoors. What I'm worried about is that because it's been so mild, look at this. I have some plants coming out already. Can you see that? Like, look. You can tell we have those there too. And over here there's some. Yeah, the weather has been very mild, and that's a big problem, because we're gonna get in the 20s and it will hopefully not kill whatever is coming up. But I'm gonna clean all of this. Everything is labeled, so it should be good to go. But I'll show you pretty much. I mean, look, the roses still have leaves on them. So first, why am I digging the dahlias even though it's so late? I can leave them in the ground if I wanted to, but I really want to dig them out because one, I would like to relocate them and go ahead and make them work better so that there's more short ones on the front and the taller ones on the back, and I can plant better some other plants in between like celosia. So I really do want to dig them out for that, but also because I want extra tubers. But usually I leave them in the ground for a couple of years and it's worked out okay. I have lost quite a few dahlias, but it still works out okay for me. It just gets me to experiment more. So if you want to make sure that you're not going to lose any dahlias, just dig them out every year if you are in a cold zone like I am. But I like to use a pitchfork. I like to use the pitchfork because I have used a shovel the last few years and they have broken some of my tubers. I have damaged them. But with the pitchfork, I think you have less of a chance of damaging the tubers. And since they're so close together on that bed that I showed you, I think this will work a lot better. So this is a tool that if you have a lot of dahlias, I would get one of these for sure. Before I get going, I need to bring all of my tropical dwarf trees indoors because it's going to be less than 30 degrees and I don't want to take a chance. So I'm going to take care of this quickly before I get going. Okay, that's done. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest all these calendulas because I will harvest them whether they're open or not, because my bunny will love them. So this could be a treat for her today. Let's do that. I didn't get a ton, just that much, but she will love them. She loves calendula. I tried to dehydrate a bunch of it, and because she really enjoys it with her salad daily. This year I definitely want to grow a lot more calendula. This resin calendula is so good for you that I think it'll be a great one. So I'm going to be growing a lot more of it throughout, and hopefully it'll spread. This is my friend Carolyn who's helping me dig out all these dahlias. I'm so grateful. She's gonna help me out, so here we go.
All right.
Okay. Are there any tubers?
He's ready to.
Yeah. So there's some tubers on this one right there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants. I think there's one that's the mother, which I don't use. But yeah, it's looking good. Big. I think this is the mother. Look how big that is. These are looking so good, and these are some that I purchased already grown from the store, and this one is full of tubers. If you can see, they look super healthy. Look how nice and bright they are. This one is full. They might have like 10 plants in here. I'm so happy. That one doesn't have a label, the last one, so I'm going to go get a label and just call it short so that I know it's one of the short ones that goes on the front, because he has so many tubers and it's really beautiful. So I gotta go get some labels.
You just going in there.
I'm just going in. And that's, I did keep the label. Like I said, I bought this at the store. Let's see how it is. If it's any good. I see 1 tuber. So this one,
They're very small.
this one doesn't have a lot of tubers. It's probably because it was in a pot.
Okay.
So it may not have developed as many. 1, 2. I think there's only 2. That's okay. But at least I'll get a new plant. So
Yeah.
so after we get the dahlias out that I show you, we cut them short. We leave a couple inches of the stem, and we put, I like this kind of label on it, and then I use a garden marker. Don't use anything but a garden marker because they'll wash off. It eventually just wears out. But I just label it here. This one I'm gonna label it short and put it on, and this is great. It stays on, and that's it. Super easy. So this one, label it short.
Yeah, I really think you got them in the nick of time.
I know, they're looking really good. Okay. Only one here, yeah. So the reason I use garden marker is because we're gonna wash them and the water will wear, you know, will get rid of whatever you write. But with the garden marker, CD marker, it works really well. I'll link them on the bottom. Let's see. No, that will come out. Okay. So I'm gonna have to. So what you do is you try to look for a neck that's thinner than the body, and then you place it in that location so that it doesn't come off.
Right.
So I'm going to put it as tight as possible there. There we go, and then it doesn't come out so easily.
Okay, got it, okay.
So here's one where instead of putting on the bulbs, because they're so small, I'm placing, I cut the stem up to here, so it's where the Y is. That way I can put this label down there, and it'll hold in place. So you just need one stem, And then now it can get out. So here's another one that really shows well. There's the mother tuber. Look how large that is right here. You see that? Let me put it on this side. That's the mother tuber, which is the largest, but I still have 1, 2, 3. So this skinny one is still a good tuber. Don't get rid of them. And there's another one here and another one here. So, and all I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut up here like, oh, like that. And then I'm going to move this label to the neck right here so that it doesn't come off as I'm washing them or moving them.
So I have a question. Rate these tubers to make new plants?
Yes, so when it comes in March or so, or February, depending how warm it's out, I go ahead and separate all of these tubers. I've done that on another video and I show it in detail. I'll link that video also below. And that way you can get, when you cut them, as long as you have the neck. So the neck is this little part here and a little bit of the crown, a little piece of that. You'll have this piece, the bulb itself, the neck, and the crown. When you cut that little piece, which I show in detail in that video, I gave a lot of examples, then that's a brand new plant.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how small it is. I mean, even this little thing that looks like nothing, if it's not damaged in any way, they'll grow fine. Now, if you damage it when you dig them out, get rid of them because they'll rot the other tubers if you store them in a container. And then you are going, whenever you start dividing, get rid of the mother tuber. Because that won't bloom very well the next year.
I see.
So I'm going to put this label right, thank you. I'm going to put this label right here. And I have to relabel this one because I thought it was Sweet Natalie, but it's Café con Leche. But I know what this is. This is probably 5 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet. But all I do is that, and that's it. You have a bunch of plants now. For free. They're expensive enough. You need to do this to get extra plants. I am going to remove everything that's on the way, like bamboo sticks, this little pots that I put so that I won't poke my eye on the bamboo sticks. So I'm gonna do that first before starting. You want to try to get rid of anything that you have so that you don't have any chance of breaking your tuber or damaging your tuber. Okay.
We're still pretty lucky though. It's not a harsh winter so far.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get it. I think we're gonna get it bad next month. I don't know why I feel that way.
Don't call it, girl. Don't call it. I wanted to stay my. Because now look, all my alliums are coming out. And they're gonna die.
Know. All right. I think I got them all over here.
So this pitchfork thing works great. Having a friend help works great. So next time I have to go to her house and help her in her garden. We're gonna do that this winter to clean her garden. But if you have a friend, just try to find a friend to garden because we exchange helping each other. We exchange seeds, we exchange tubers. I'm gonna give her a bunch of tubers from the ones I dig out. So it's good and good for everything all around for both of you. So. Oh no, this has no label. Fine. Oh, and look how many tubers. So I go about a foot away from the tuber because I have the feeling this may have a lot of tubers. We'll see. Just so that I make sure I don't damage the tuber. And then go from below. There we go. So, yeah, I have quite a few here. A lot of really pretty ones are gonna come out of this. Look, 1, 2, 3. So worm. A lot of worms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plants out of this. They all do good. I have a little bit of an issue here because I have a dahlia growing here and there's alliums that spread in this area and they're already starting to sprout. It's very early. Last year the same thing happened. They sprouted so early and then ended up not giving any flowers because it was way too early and then it got cold. But I'm gonna try to dig the dahlia out by hand and not with a shovel and see if I can get it out and not damage the alliums. We'll see how that goes. Oh, they're all over. They really spread. I have so many here. I'm gonna have to get rid of all these extra alliums that I have. What a bummer.
Oh, are they coming up?
Yeah, all around the tubers for the dahlias. So, yeah. Okay. Say bye-bye.
So soggy.
All the alliums, I think they may do okay. Maybe one or two got damaged, like these little ones. I'm gonna leave them in here, put the soil back. I still have to get this dahlia out, but I think they'll do all right once I put the soil back. So let's dig out that one. I don't want to dig out the dahlia, so I mean the alliums. So that worked. Did okay. Wow, that's a big old tuber. Something else to keep in mind, sometimes they'll be green like this. The other ones are really brown, so it depends how much sun they're getting, how warm the soil is where they're at. So just because they're brown doesn't mean that they're not any good. As long as the tubers look good, they're not mushy, they're fine. So this one is still super green. I'm surprised, but I think it gets quite a bit of sun where it is. It's super healthy. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it like I said before and then put the label a little further down. And that will be it. It has great tubers. And this is one of the cafe au lait. Here's a perfect example of one that did not survive, and I'm so sad. That's this passion fruit one. It was so pretty, but you can tell, see how the tuber is mush. You can touch and it's just mush. So this is what I get for leaving them in the ground so late, is that if it rains a lot, that doesn't make it usually, and this one did not, unfortunately. And it may be too because I had it between really large plants. I should have had it where it would get sun and then start developing more nutrition to create tubers. So it's a goner.
It happens.
Bye, honey. So I'm gonna show you this cafe au lait I bought already grown in a pot, and you will not believe how big it is. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try to clean it up and show you what you can do. It's a little harder, but it looks like the tubers are doing really well. I'm gonna just start cleaning it out with my hand. And there's probably a ton of tubers, I can just tell. I think I'm gonna cut this one down just to be, so it'll be easier. And so I'm gonna go, I just put my finger and just kind of go in between the tubers. Don't use a tool because you're gonna scrape the tuber and damage it. So just use your finger to go right in between. Just try to prevent it. It's just super wet here. This is, oh my gosh, this has 1,000 tubers in it. You want to try to get as much as you can off, because when you hose it, it will be even harder to get it off sometimes. It's just compact in there, so I like to get as much as I can off before I hose these down. Okay, I placed them all in a line. And look, out of everything you saw that I'm getting out, this is all it is. It's not that many once you get them out. So they're not gonna take a lot of space to store, but so I took as much soil as I could off, labeled every single one of them, look for any rotting tubers that really I should remove before I store them, and now I'm gonna hose them. You don't have to hose your dahlias if you don't want to. If you want to conserve some water, then go ahead and just let them dry and the soil will fall right off. I prefer to do this just to be able to check them really well, and since I don't have too many, it won't take long to hose them down. That's part of the reason that I clean them as much as I can off the soil, so it won't take too long to use that hose. It is quite cold out, so I'd much rather do this whole water thing very quickly. To use a plastic container to keep them in for a day or two while they dry a little bit. I don't like to use cardboard because the cardboard gets wet, and it's just, I don't want any extra wet thing around my dahlia tubers while they're trying to dry out.
So when do you normally do this? Fall?
Fall after the first frost, but we really haven't had a frost.
Yeah.
So I haven't been in a hurry to do it.
Right.
What I'm gonna do is go ahead and lay out some paper towels here, and then I will place my dahlias once they're clean and ready, line them up. I don't know if they're all gonna fit, we'll see. I'm gonna line them up here and make sure they dry for a couple of days before I put them away. And I'll link in the video below how I did it last year, and that shows you exactly how I store them, and it worked really well. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm Melba, and I love to grow food and flowers that will satisfy my tummy but also my mind and soul. Okay, we got everything done. I am so grateful to Carolyn. I think I did really good. The tubers were in good shape, which I was very concerned because it's so late in the season. But now I'm gonna go ahead and take care of these tubers. It is the next day, obviously. I'm cleaned up. I wanted to keep these in the buckets because I was really tired yesterday, because now I'm gonna go through each one of these clusters, and then I'm gonna check if there's any tubers that are rotted or anything that I damaged somehow picking them up. You wanna do that before you store them because you don't want any humidity, anything to be in there. So take your time doing this when you're rested. Maybe do it the next day. Don't keep them in the buckets for days. It's not good for them. They're on top of each other. So a day or two will be okay. But I'm gonna lay them on this paper that I put down, and this will let them rest here for a few days. And then after they dry a little, then I'll put them away. And I have a video where I showed exactly how I store them last year. And I'll go ahead and link anything to do with the dahlias below so that it can help you know how to dig, how to store them, all of that. I'm gonna get started. I will tell you, finding that right partner for gardening makes a huge difference. I told you that before in the video, but one thing that I do is, she's a master gardener. She knows everything to do with vegetables. She's really good. So we exchange information. She looks at things with me. We plan together, and then I know a lot more than she does about flowers, roses, things like that. So I help her with that in her garden. So we exchange seeds. I give her a bunch of tubers, actually clusters of dahlias, and I'm gonna give her tubers also. So we exchange work, and then I'm gonna go help her in her garden next. So find somebody. It is so much more fun to work in the garden with someone that has the same interest. So I think that if I had not had her, it would have taken so long to do by myself, and it was freezing. Our hands, we could not feel them by the time we were done getting them out, sorting them, and then washing them. I dug them out, and then she went through them, made sure they were labeled, made sure they were okay, and then we went ahead and washed them together. So that was really fun. Let's get going taking care of these Dahlia tubers. I'll show you what I do. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is, as I lay them down, I'm gonna check. They're okay, they have some dirt, but that's why I'm putting them here, so that the soil will start falling down as they dry. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything rotting on any of them. They have their labels. These are looking really good. There's one like this one. It only has one tuber. This is the mother tuber. So that won't be any good, but maybe I can get one out of this. This is a new one I bought last year. They're all looking really, really good. Oh, see, there's two things that got damaged, as you can see. See, you don't want to leave that. I like to take them all because I don't like to have any issues later. So I use this really thin, I'll link them below, but I like using these. So I'm going in there and I'm cutting that out very carefully that I don't damage another one. Take your time doing it. That one's out. Let's cut. There was another one here. This little one broke, so I'm gonna cut it down as close to the top of the neck of it. There you go. And now this one is fine. That one does, it's just a tiny scratch. I think I'm gonna get rid of it just in case. I like to just keep it as clean. So at this point I can wait, or I can go ahead and start clipping the little tips, keep clipping these things, but I'm gonna wait until it dries. It makes it a lot easier after it's dry to cut it than when it's a little humid. Wow, these look so good. I'm gonna keep doing this. One of the things to keep in mind is I took my tubers out before the last frost because we're in the middle of January and we have not had one yet, and the rain is just non-stop. It's more than usual. It's not a drizzle, it's a lot of rain. So I like to keep them in the ground because the skin will get thicker. You'll be able to see if it's getting any gall disease on it, and you'll be able to get a better set of tubers that hopefully will not get damaged as easily. But sometimes you have to make the decisions what's best. With the climate changing so much, you have to kind of look and see what's going to be best for what you want to achieve. And for me, I wanted to get them out and not take a chance and go ahead and store them. So I'm going to show you on the next video exactly what I do before storing to go ahead and get them prepped so that I prevent any diseases or anything from rotting. I will go in detail on that on the next video. Here we go. They're all laid out on the paper towel. I have allowed a little bit of space in between them so they get some air, and then I'll wait a few days until they're dry. Then I will clean up the roots and anything that's extra and go ahead and store them until March or so. Make sure you don't have a heater near the tubers when they're being allowed to dry a little bit before storing. You want some humidity to keep them healthy. That's all that you do for the dahlias for now, and I am going to go ahead and wait, and then on another video I will show you how I store them, divide them, all of that. I do have a video on how to divide them, so I will link that below. In the meantime, have a good one.